to welcome to our show now a very prominent movie maker, Ismail Merchant, who directed several award-winning films such as Autobiography of a Princess, A Room with a View, Maurice, The Deceivers, and Howard's End, just to mention a few. And now it's In Custody, based on the novel by Anita Desai. This novel, In Custody, was shortlisted for the Booker Awards. The poetry of the famous Fayaz Ahmad Fayaz's poems has given this film life and authenticity, says director Ismail Merchant. Some of the stars in the film are Shashi Kapoor, Shabana Azmi, and Om Puri. Music by Zakir Hussain, an international phenomenon, and Ustad Sultan Khan, a world-renowned Sarangi scholar. Over now to Chandrasekhar and Ismail Merchant for this exclusive interview.
The Toronto International Film Festival seems to have had a tremendous impact on the South Asian community here in Toronto, primarily because of the presence of some great Indian films here. With us in the studio are two of the great award winners at the international level, none other than Mr. Ismail Merchant and Mr. Shashi Kapoor. Ismail and Shashi ji, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Ismail, I know it's very interesting, at a time when Urdu is being looked at very closely. There are mushairas taking place around the world right now. Tell me about the motivation. How did you get motivated in terms of a Mughal subject, in terms of its influence in India, in Bhopal?
Well, the motivation is the language which I have studied, and I was born with the language. At home I spoke. I went to all the conventions of the poets in Bombay, and it just grew with me. And I enjoyed poetry of Ghalib, Zauq, Mir Taqi Mir, Hali, and Faiz. So it became like something I wanted to, right from the very beginning, from my childhood. I wanted to do something about it in a form of a film. And when this novel was published, which was very highly acclaimed, I got the rights immediately, and this was just about 6 years ago. And from then on, I've been working, to get the rights of Faiz Ahmad Fayaz's work. And I succeeded in both, and then finally with Shashi and Shabana and this Om Puri, this wonderful cast, Shushma Seth, I was just, it's one of those things that happens in life, that not only you get the good work, you get the poetry, you get the music, you get the actors, and you get the atmosphere, and I got this wonderful place to film in, is Bhopal.
Urdu Shayari. जब उर्दू ज़बानी ना रही तो फिर उर्दू शायरी कहाँ कीजिए
है जज़्बाए दिल गर मैं चाहूं.
So you've done all types of roles before. Tell me about the significance of this particular role. In what way was this different compared to the conventional heroes that you have portrayed in many films before?
Well, I mean, this is something, of course, that I have never ever done before. After years and years of being in Hindi films and of being on the stage in India and abroad, I had never come across such a character. And in fact, this character was so strong and so difficult that when I read the script, I immediately said no to Ismail, which Ismail was surprised about, you see. And he said, why? And I said, no, this is too much like hard work. It was very difficult for me. But I'm glad, I'm really glad that I was bullied by Ismail, who also got hold of Jim Ivory and Ruth Jawala of the Merchant Ivory team, and they all kind of pressurized me to do this role, to take up this challenge, which I did, and it was great. I mean, I enjoyed working it, but it was very hard. I don't think I would like to repeat this kind of performance because it's taken a lot out of me, really.
क्या हुआ नूर साहब?
क्या हुआ? अपने हीरो के लिए इतनी सी कुल्फत मंजूर नहीं है? आ जाते हैं सबके सब रोज मुफ्तखोरी करने.
There is a scene in which Shashi ji is drinking rum, and he's coming through with tremendous amount of highly acclaimed Urdu poetry. And at a time like this, you brought a sense of humor by introducing a third character. And this young fellow forgets to turn the recorder on. Tell me about the treatment of this film.
Well, I think the one of the things which was, that if you were to talk about, death of poetry or decaying of language and culture, that's too serious a thought. So you have to string something which has much more of a human touch to it, humor, emotions that are, both sort of, they play on desperation, they play on sort of, comedic level, and those things are very important because they are a part of our life. Life is just not on the same sort of a level. It has ups and downs. It has all kinds of things that sort of make up what you call it a texture of human life. And people share that, and that's why this film is reachable to any kind of audience, whether you are Japanese or you are a Canadian or you are, whoever you are, whether you know the language or you do not know the language, because these are the emotions that tie you,
Ismail, many of your films have won Oscar and Academy Awards for that matter. What is the difference between making a film in English for an international audience as compared to making a film in third language for an international audience?
Well, this also is a film that has, again, I said that, a flavor of, international flavor to it from the point of view, but it is very much, rooted in the culture and the, an ambiance of in a particular segment of India, and I think that's like a springboard, to convey the emotions and the feelings. You have to root the film somewhere, So this is why, when the story about the poetry, the language, the culture, is rooted in Bhopal, this place, which is so beautiful. Visually, it's a stunning place. And then the poetry is so sublime and so melodic and beautiful. So all those things, combined together, it gives something like people, when they see the film, they say, well, we have taken something with us, a part of India, a part of that culture we've taken within ourselves. So that has really, if that is what is conveyed through the film to the audience, I'm gratified.
Hail to thee, blight spirit, bird thou never wert.
तुमने रिकॉर्ड किया या नहीं?
आपने तो बंद करवा दिया था.
Many provincial governments, for instance, in Kerala and a few other states in India, they've introduced subsidies. Now, what about the Madhya Pradesh government? Were they helpful to you in the sense, in terms of film production and shooting during this film in Bhopal?
Well, Madhya Pradesh government was very helpful. They were very, very helpful, and they did everything for us. I mean, that house, for example, where Noor lives, or is his ancestral home, that was a part of the Madhya Pradesh government, and they were very helpful to us by giving us that location. Everyone in Bhopal, whether you were a Hindu or a Muslim or whoever you were, they were very much attached to the production. They felt that we were their own people. I mean, every night, we were practically wined and dined every night by people who were the strangers to us. And yet they made us feel that, we belonged to that place. We were their own, and I think that kind of a feeling is very rare.
Shashi, Urdu is a very romantic language, but it requires a certain types of pronunciation, right from your heart. Like there is ha and certain words like that. Tell me about the pronunciation.
Well, thank you for the compliments, but let me tell you a little secret. I never studied Urdu language in school. We studied English and we studied Hindi. I was studying in a mission school, Christian mission school. So I never got a chance to study Urdu. But I heard Urdu language at home because my father spoke Urdu and he spoke Persian also and Pashto. And so did my mother and my brothers. But not having learnt Urdu, it was very difficult for me to do a part of a character that would be speaking only chaste Urdu language. You see, it was like doing a part in Latin or doing a part in Sanskrit, one of those languages. So I was very fortunate really to get a good tutor. Ismail had organized a very good tutor, a good poet, and he taught me the nuances of the language, the rhythms of the language, the rhythms of poetry, the pronunciations and all that. So it was very helpful. And after a lot of hard work, I think we got that done.
गर मुझे इसका यकीन हो कि तेरे दिल की थकन, तेरी आंखों की उदासी,
The music of the film, that was another great thing about
Zakir
it.
Hussain.
Zakir Hussain and Sultan Khan, they have done a fantastic job. I mean, whenever I would say that I want something, inspirational to Strauss and Mozart, he created his own Mozart, his own Strauss, which is just so. I mean, whenever I hear the soundtrack now, which is available, it just gave you that feeling that this is a very special thing. This is something very evocative. This is something very beautiful, and I think that is a great gift, which a director has, is from the composer.
Ismail, Shabana's ghazals and nazms that you have featured in that are very beautifully done. Tell me about the soundtrack, and what was the post-production done overseas?
No, it was done overseas. It was done in New York and in London.
I see. And so it's total Dolby sound?
Dolby sound,
And your crew was from New York, or what did you use?
No, the crew was local. I mean, Indian crew, and there was some English technician. The cameraman was English. Larry Pizer, who'd worked with us, and the sound engineer was English, Mike Shaw.
जैसे वो लिख सकते हैं, मैं भी लिख सकती हूँ.
माफ कीजिए, आपका उनसे मुकाबला नहीं हो सकता. आप उनकी तरह कभी नहीं लिख सकती.
Both of you in your own right, you've accomplished a great deal. What can the people expect from you in the coming years?
Many more wonderful things. I mean, that's what I say. You have to. Otherwise, sure. What's the point in being Shashi Kapoor and Ismail Merchant?
Ismail and Shashi, thank you very much for being with us. Just for the benefit of viewers, that Ismail Merchant is one of the outstanding motion picture producers and directors who has won Academy Awards, and Shashi Kapoor is internationally well known, one of the most famous artists from the Indian subcontinent.
Thank you. Thank you very much.